It's monumental. It's something that we are trying to come out of. It's like a lot of debris that you're just scraping your way out of because uh, there's so much, quality and so much work that's already been done, and years ago, decades ago.
And then he has brought India on a global map.
Yeah.
Stamp of India on the global map in so many different ways. And again, once again, after years, his name has brought all of us together.
His character, our takeaway from that can be, not to give away a lot, but Ipshit is a selfish person. He can get really selfish, and he does not really know how to balance out.
Hi guys, welcome to Pinkvilla. It's lovely having you here.
Hi,
Thank you.
Himesh. Thank you.
So, the first question is to all three of you. How does it feel being a part of a story that's inspired by a legend like Satyajit Ray?
It's monumental. It's something that we are trying to come out of. It's like a lot of debris that you're just scraping your way out of because there's so much, quality and so much work that's already been done, and years ago, decades ago. We're really hoping to find some truth from then, bring it home, jumble it up in our context, and give you something nice. So let's see. Let's hope it works. Of course, Srijit has directed this.
And for Shweta, you and Suki?
It's phenomenal. It's monumental. It's big and it's large, and I mean, it's just
better
huge.
complete. Okay.
Jump in. I'm loving it. No, but it's simply great. It's a big responsibility, and it's a great team, and including the in front of the camera, behind the camera, the tech team, the platform, everything just and plus Satyajit Ray's name, story, everything just combined together. It's just.
Yeah.
It's now we're all ready for it to kind of explore on the audience, and great.
And Shweta?
Well, I grew up watching a lot of Ray films and on a lot of reading a lot of his short stories. I mean, we already are, we have explored Satyajit Ray as a prolific filmmaker. We already know that. He's put India on a global map with his films and with the festivals and winning the Honorary Academy in '92. So we are already aware of that. But it's great that through this anthology, the Netflix generation will be also be introduced to his written works, which is just as phenomenal. And there is Shonku the scientist and Feluda, but his short stories are something that was staple at home because literature, films, music was sort of encouraged in my growing up years. So my first introduction to Ray was Gopika and Bagabain, followed by Shonar Kella, and then I watched Devi and Charulata and Opu Trilogy, Nayok, Jalsha Ghor, Shatranj Ke Khiladi, but also his short stories. So Forget Me Not, our film, which is part of the Ray anthology, is not inspired. Inspired. It's not as is from Ray's short story, The Memory Lapse of Bipin Chaudhary. So if you read the original text, there were no female characters in the original text. So the female characters, Shruti's character, my character, or Anandita Bose's character are all screenwritten. So that is amazing that it's a retelling of four classic shots. Yeah, that's really amazing. Yes.
But how did the three of you first react when you were offered this a part in this anthology?
As is when you're offered any great project, it's something. First of all, it's our job. Second of all, it's just something that we enjoy feeling human emotions. I can speak for myself. I thrive on feeling human emotions to a level of sadism. You can go into the depths and you can experience so many things by not just being you. You can experience pain and anger and you get a chance to live out a character like that on screen. It's very exciting, and it was just pure thrill. And working with such a cast, working with such a director, and it's for Netflix, and it's Satyajit Ray. Again, it just boils down everything. All we've been talking about, it just boils down to this legendary name that we all have. that this name has united. This name has done wonders for me when I was a kid, when I was introduced to this story. Gopi Gayan Bhagavan was the first film that I watched, and my father introduced me to this legendary writer, creative person. And then he has brought India on a global map.
Yeah.
The stamp of India on the global map in so many different ways. And again, once again, after years, his name has brought all of us together. And a powerful story. So the culmination of this is it's huge. So when it was offered to me, if I could, I would have done backflips, but I didn't. I was satisfied. It was fun, yes.
The anthology that you are a part of, it deals with a very important issue which maybe a lot of youth in today's time suffer with, in terms of getting overworked with things, overwhelmed with things. Do you agree to this thing that in today's time, you like Ali's character, it represents the youth who are overworked in this time with a lot of things, trying to balance it all, being the perfect one, and
well, I mean, sorry, I'm just thinking of one very bad thing that he's trying to handle. It's not very natural. He's gonna. I shouldn't say it. I don't know.
you can.
I think we all can compartmentalize. It's the way you do it. Of course, in this particular situation, this guy is just mentally very good at it, and so he has, put everything and everyone, even people for that matter, in these boxes which are nicely, wrapped in gift wrap and organized in his life. But people in general can't do that, so they don't usually do that. Somewhere something, I suppose in every, which is why what Shweta said, right? The characters are they're not just black and white. These are regular, normal people. Like, no matter, we all set out doing something कि ये ऐसे हम सोच के करेंगे, and then the world also comes into play, which you don't really counter in, and that's when things go off, or things go amazing, or things go haywire. So I think this is just a example of that. कि एक लड़की की लाइफ में ये ऐसा कुछ, आप रोड से पगडंडी पकड़ ली अलग, अब वो पगडंडी पे क्या मिलेगा वो कहानी है. आई थिंक ये है, मुझे लगा. Also, I'm trying to constantly filter, what to say, what not to kind of put out there so that people may not catch it.
I think, we haven't seen the film yet, so I don't know how it's played out. But from what I've read, Ipshit's character, our takeaway from that can be, not to give away a lot, but Ipshit is a selfish person. He can get really selfish, and he does not really know how to balance out. Like he said, it's very clear-cut labeling of people, putting people in boxes. Sometimes you need to just stop taking people for granted, or stop being selfish, and sort of strike a balance there. I think that's what my takeaway personally from Ipshit is, maybe.
Yes. Okay.
He's a very selfish guy.
Very unlike Ali.
Well, it's like power, right? Power corrupts absolute
people. Yeah.
Absolute
Correct.
power.
So the trailer, like if you look at the trailer of Ray, towards the end it says it deals with human emotions. There is ego. There are so many. Which bracket does this story fit in as per you? Because looking at it, things are subjective. Like everyone might take away something different from this story. So which bracket of emotion does this one tackle, or this one deals with for the three of you?
Well, I think for every character, it's a different emotion that the character is feeling and is going through. So you can't, I don't think you can compartmentalize in that particular manner that this particular, this is going in this one. For Amala as a character, it was all about, while talking about Amala, a little bit of South Indian accent is coming out. Amala's accent is coming out. So for Amala, it was her family, her husband, Ipsit, is her world, it's her life, and everything revolves around her baby girl. And so it was all about loyalty. It was about love. It was, as much as I don't like this term personally, because it's a very good wife. I don't agree there is nothing like a good wife. It's a wife and it's partners. It's a give and take.
Yeah.
But Amala was, if you had to kind of, she was the epitome of a good, societal terms of a good wife. So that is what that is probably the route that she went in. And when she finds out, since you watched it, when she finds, towards the end, she understands a little bit more about her relationships and things like that.
Yeah.
Again, it's a very normal emotion that every human goes through. The black and white, the lack of black and white, and the color of grey that is there throughout, it's the most is the best part that I would take from this particular story.
Okay. Ashweta, your character, it's in the corporate setup, so what was your takeaway from that?
Well, I think I don't know how much can I reveal, but corporate life, from what I understand, we work in a very different industry, so it's difficult for me to gauge exactly what goes on in a corporate world, in that building and how it is. But from what it seems, from what I read, it is of course, like any other industry, very, very competitive, and it's very cutthroat competition, and there is a sort of, everybody trying to climb the ladder around a day or, around a project. So, of course, it's pretty cutthroat, and that's what makes Ipsit the way he is, because he's that go-getter. He's that, the need to have power, the need to achieve, or, as the story unravels. For me, Maggie is this submissive, sweet girl, quite unpredictable, and has her own graph, and again, which I can't really reveal, but I think it's still very you will see Maggie around. If in any office, in any setup, there will be a character like Maggie, who's this note-taking secretary, or maybe
there's
the one who plants the bomb.
And Ali, I'm sure Ipsit is a character which is far off from what you are in real life. So how difficult was it for you to get into that world and relate to it?
Of course, in terms of the visual, in terms of the physical, and I suppose the accent training and all that stuff, that is separate. But the mental aspect is actually very similar to we guys, right? It's and I remember this from my first time on stage in school. I went there, and it was an amphitheater. And for that one little scene, I remember did an entire Shakespeare ka play chal raha tha, and I realized that in that moment I have access to 185 people and their faces, and I will direct every twitch on their face. And for that little moment, they will breathe, and they will sigh, and they will laugh, and they will cry the way I might make it happen. It was a bit of an evil thing there in my head, or I don't know. It's a bit of a trip. It's a power trip. So I think somewhere as actors, we are remotely aware of that. We get to do that. We get to, sort of. So yeah. I just had to wear a suit and do that. In a corporate culture, aren't we all vying for it? Aren't we all, climbing on top of someone or the other, consciously or unconsciously? You might not be a bad person, but you've taken up a job that somebody else did not get. There's always going to be that.
Correct. True.
You're going to have, and अपनी life में अपन लोग protagonist होते हैं ना. आप अपनी life में hero.
Yeah.
मैं अपनी life में hero. So I can't judge myself. So if shit is short, we're all selfish in our own way. He just hides it less. He's actually pretty blunt in people's faces, and I think that's of course that's what makes the character, right? Like what comes out.
After what next for you in the cards in terms of on acting front after it?
I have two films. I had Fukre that was starting off in April. We couldn't because of the pandemic, so I think we've pushed it ahead. I think next year because I have some previous work lined up in October. That's it. अभी काफी वेला है मैं.
You said you have lots of work and you have pushed Fukre because of that, and
लॉर्ड्स नहीं, एक बाहर का काम है, तो उसकी वजह से
अच्छा।
हाँ, अभी तो मैं बैटमैन लेके घूमता हूँ यार एवरीवेयर. Yeah, hey, एक्का दुक्का लिया. Writing couple of things.
I have a small little bit in a movie that's due to release. I don't know when. It's called Maidan. It's
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have something in that which was supposed to release in 2020, but then of course it couldn't. So I'm waiting on that, and hopefully 1-2 web series. But I will tell you when I know.
I am currently dubbing for Madhur Bhandarkar's India Lockdown, which is about the 2020 lockdown that happened in India. And it's 4 parallel stories sort of interjecting, and it's a multi-narrative story. So that's going to be out later this year after Ray. So I'm just finished. I just wrapped my dubbing for that, and I'm shooting for a web series that I can't talk about right now.
Thank you so much, guys. It was lovely
Thank
talking
you.
to you, and wish you all the best for the show.
Ramesh.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Ramesh.
Ramesh. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.